And yeah. Yeah. You can sit in the front. Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see all of you virtually and in person. Even I'm hoping wherever you are, you're not like inundated with lots of rain. Apparently in the southern part of our service area, there's a ton of water. Some of you mentioned that it was coming this way. So, hey, that'll be a great day for us. I'm Leslie Bednar. I'm the executive director of the Illinois Heartland Library System. What we are doing in my department anyway, right now is something that, well, we do it every year. It's the annual report. So every spring or like late winter, we develop our annual application for the System Area Per Capita Grant. That's our operating grant. It funds most of what we do, except for share, which is pretty much member supported. And then immediately after we get that done, we have a little break. We do things like prepare for our audit, which is what's happening now. Our auditors will be on site next month. And then we also are working on the rest of the components of the annual report. And all of that is due to the state library at the end of September. So we have to have everything to our board and approved by the September meeting. So we also do have quite a few new staff. You're getting to meet some of them today in person or online. They're with us. And so we're all kind of like feeling our way through how we're going to work together. Kate's done a great job with CE and letting people know. So I hope you all like working with her. And the other thing we're doing, because we're now in fiscal year 24, we just found out yesterday that our application for FY24 was approved by the Illinois State Library. Yay. So now we can start really like focusing on new projects that were included in that application or that line of service. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Yeah. And then we have a share update next. Okay, good. I was just going to ask if Cassandra was going to show yourself. I knew you were here.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Kate. I really appreciate that. I'm gonna just let you all know we have some very exciting news. We are in the process of working with Aspen to get that project started.
Hold on. Oh, we need to get the sound in this room going. Which my sound, I don't know what the speaker is. It's got to be nice.
For people online, are you guys hearing me okay? Maybe if a couple people could thumbs up me or
it
just
sounds
fine.
good in the
okay. Thank
Zoom
you.
meeting.
We can hear you in the Zoom meeting, but we cannot hear you in the room. We're working on that right now.
Okay, thanks, Leah.
I can hear you.
Thank you.
You know, can we come back to share while I find some on-site technical assistance? And can we go ahead and move to Carol and communications?
That's okay. It was just.
Unmuting myself now. Hi, hello. One sec again. And I do have there. Nope, there. Okay, sorry about that. Hi, I'm Carol Hogan Downey. I am the Communications and Advocacy Administrator here at Illinois Heartland Library System. The advocacy part of the title is new, and that is because we are expanding the kind of advocacy that I do in my role, that is library advocacy. And with that in mind, I'm going to share my screen to go through. I decided to make some slides because just honestly, I thought it would be simpler than you're over there. Okay. All right. So there are two different projects that we are thinking about doing, library advocacy projects that we want to get your feedback about. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of go over them and then ask for your feedback twice. So so you can see kind of what I'm going to be talking about here, that there's a digital equity info page that I want to create. And I want to seek feedback about that. Then we're going to talk about a video / graphic design contest and feedback about that. So, okay. So the first is the info page. So if you have seen lately, we've started doing these info pages on our website under the news section of the website. There are a lot of them are legislative updates at this point. We did one for HB 2789, which is the anti-censorship bill. We have one for P-Law, paid leave for all workers law. And we have one for the new notary laws that are in effect, that will affect any libraries offering notary services. And the idea behind these info pages is that they are sort of, not all of them, but many of them are kind of seeds that will grow into resource guides. And if you're not familiar with our resource guides, you can find those on our website under issues in the top menu. But the info page, the idea there is it's a focused small topic, or we don't have a lot of information about something yet. But the point is we're putting out this shorter resource guide type thing, or just page of information, because it's need to know information right now. Like it's prioritizing that information, and that way we can work on a resource guide, but the important stuff, the priority information is out to y'all. And so as that information grows, or as we get more information, as we keep working, we can turn that into a resource guide. An example would be the HB 2789 thing. Once we get the administrative rules for that law, then we're going to start working on a resource guide for how to make sure that you're following that law, and some different examples or samples of policies that you can use and things like that. But at the moment, it's still just an info page because we don't have those administrative rules yet. So the broadband page, or the digital equity page, I don't know how many of you all are familiar with the concept of digital equity, but this is something that libraries are already participating in a lot of ways. Public and school libraries and academic libraries especially. So one part of it, the part that we focus on the most, or we at IHLS are currently focusing on the most, is broadband expansion. So both federally and in the state of Illinois, there are efforts, both laws and programs, to get more broadband access, or good internet access, fast internet access, with good bandwidth, so more people can do more things with that internet access at the same time, throughout like even the most rural areas, as well as the cities and things like that. But of course, here at Heartland, a lot of our libraries that don't have access are going to be the rural libraries, or the libraries that are in areas that are financially less, the word that coming to mind is prominent, and this is what I meant, but who struggle financially. And so in Illinois, there are laws. SB 851 that you see here on my slide is the law that has been sent to the governor. That is a feasibility, or it calls for a feasibility study. The report will be due in January of 2024. The study is, they want to do the feasibility study on connecting public libraries, public schools, and state correctional institutions, which means IHLS members, to the Illinois Century Network by 2030. So that's the feasibility study is going to be starting soon. So the thing is, the reason why I'm coming to you with this is there's so much information. I just dipped my toe in just now telling you a little bit, but there are other questions about digital equity and libraries that, to me, the information is all important. But I thought I would turn to you all to find out what you think would be the need to know information right now. So there are 4 possibilities that I've come up with. There's going to be some overlap that I'm going to go over with them. But different focal points or different things to focus or ways to focus the info page. Any and or all of this information could be available on a resource guide later on. But for now, just focusing on the need to know. So there's libraries, looking at them as a key to digital equity in Illinois. There's the one that law and the feasibility study. There is broadband is coming to your area eventually one way or another. So how is your library going to prepare for that? And then just like a very short guide to digital equity, because the more research I've done, the more I've realized there's not something there. And all the different websites that the state offers, no offense to that or anything else, that it's very dense. And I had to just do a lot of research to understand what it was talking about. So the more focused of those 4 options are these 2 libraries, key to Illinois digital equity, kind of a working title for that. So it would cover topics like why librarians should care. So part of it is I'm going to be convincing people who maybe think we don't really need to worry about that. Your colleagues or y'all, why you should care about digital equity, how to advocate for your library on the state and federal and community levels within these efforts for digital equity. How to make good use of the broadband access that you maybe already have or that you are going to get, or what internet access you do have with like different programs and resources, things like that. Digital literacy education to offer patrons. So, here's what peer libraries are currently offering. Here are some really great, useful ones. Here's something, scaled down or up. And then how we can support you in those efforts. Another option is, again, focusing on that law and the feasibility study. So what that law means, because I have read the text of the law and I've read the description and I have a lot of questions and there's not a lot out there. So I'm going to have to contact the sponsor for the bill and the broadband office and things like that, which is where you see that Q&A as part of where I'm going to get the information, but also how you can help with the feasibility study. So, to really help emphasize, no, we do need this. It'll be totally feasible. And the surveys that are coming. There are surveys coming from the Secretary of State already about library digital stuff. There's PLA is going to be sending out a survey soon. And then of course, things like IPLAR, because I dig in that data a lot for my advocacy efforts. So how to fill out that digital side, how to find, your upload download speeds that you currently have, how to find out, if you can, your Wi-Fi sessions per year, that kind of stuff. And then what's next with this feasibility study to spill? Does it mean yes or no feasible, or how feasible is it? Is it gonna happen? I'll hopefully find out for that. Another possibility, or another 2 possibilities, these are broader in scope. So it looks like it would be more information, but that means it's gonna be less in depth because this is a limited page. So one is broadband is coming, how to prepare. So how to educate yourself and your patrons. Resources to offer once that broadband access happens. Best security and privacy practices, things like making sure that you don't save a lot of information about different Wi-Fi sessions or search history for patrons who, might be searching things that, Southern Illinois is different from all of Illinois, but there are certain, it's always good to be careful to not let anybody get. There are places where kids or people can't access, information about, say, reproductive health. And so if you keep that stuff private, then oh no, who's stopping them? I can't stop them. I don't know. That kind of thing. And then how we can support you, and then where to find additional support for when broadband comes. And then the last one is that very short guide to digital equity. So what laws and programs are out there federally and on the state level, what terms, concepts, et cetera, that you need to understand to be able to be kind of conversant in digital equity efforts and those things. What state offices and organizations exist, and what about the federal office that exists for this? So all of that information, I'm going to make this smaller so the people in the room can see. My main questions: what info takes the highest priority out of what I mentioned? What are you not sold on as far as digital equity and libraries is concerned? And what am I missing? And I did not bring my notebook over. It's in my backpack. Also a pen. Oh, perfect. And I can't hear. So if someone,
I'll let you know if there's anything in the chat.
okay. So Carrie Fisher just posted a link to the chat, the Extension Illinois EDU. This is the Illinois Extension's local government education program partners with the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunities, Illinois Office of Broadband, Illinois Broadband Lab, and the Benton Institute for Broadband and Society to provide outreach and assistance aimed towards community and county broadband development goals, digital equity. Okay. Well, I have that here. Thank you. I'll minimize that. I will bookmark that.
Oh, you can see the chat.
Okay, I can pull it up. Yeah. Oh, let's just do same things. So yeah, you could share resources that I'm missing, or like y'all are librarians, so I'm perfectly happy to accept anything you find, any valuable stuff you find. I know that's your thing, and I love that. But also just like if there are questions you have about it that it looked like, like that you continue to have, because I didn't answer questions necessarily.
So Illinois Century Network, we were involved with them up to about maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and we left because we were a lot slower and it was a lot more expensive for us to be with them. Are they upgraded now? Does Illinois Century Network has their infrastructure upgraded? Because they were a lot slower and we were able to go frontier for a lot cheaper and a lot faster. So when you say you're trying to connect all of them together, is that an upgraded system?
I believe they're working on upgrading that system. Leslie, you
I
would
think
like,
that's part of what I think ICN. So the ICN is a provider, and they're also kind of trying to make sure that agencies around the state and the ones that consider anchored have what they need. So they're trying to update what they have. At the same time, making sure that there are plans that get that entire quality. Using whether they are but that was a lot of our agencies have been done. Better out if you would remember when ICN was it, that's what we had for activity. And then there were other vendors in the marketplace who might have been more affordable, might have been offers that the ICN provides. I think I'm never going to say you should only go with one vendor or another. I think they're trying to be the party that connects all the dots.
That's what I was wondering, because I know they were struggling there. If you have a team, someone, so it wasn't very effective for us. I just wondered if they were upgrading the infrastructure in this amount of time since I've been in Frontier. Thank you.
yeah, thank you. That's a great question. I'll add to me.
I think that one of the key things is to figure out how you're going to pay for it monthly, because a lot of the fiber companies, they know that you can apply for E-rates, so their rates are very, very high. And so they want you to make sure you jump through that hoop to get them the most money. So when I got fiber at my library, there was only one company that was doing that. And I have 2 buildings in my library district, and they charge me $500 a month for my fiber a month. And so it is fiber but I'm on a dedicated line, so I don't share it with anyone. So that's good. So my libraries are very zippy. I like that, but it's very expensive. So if I don't do E-rate, I can't afford it. And as everyone knows, E-rate is a very big process. That's a lot. It's a lot of hoops to jump through E-rate, but it's possible. I'm not saying it's good, bad, or otherwise, it's just a lot of hoops, you know. So I think portability going forward is key. And also somebody has to provide the equipment that's in your building then. And of course, I had to do 2 sets of them. So that was also an E-rate grant when I first did it. So there's just a lot to think about. It sounds great. And now, right now, they're actually a second fiber company is laying lines in Argenta, Oregon right now. It's called Rise. So they will be in competition with Metro, but again, I have a dedicated line, so I don't know if the pricing won't drop. But I do know my contract is out next year. So I might be able to negotiate a different price tag because they won't be the only competition in my area, which is great.
I can tell you.
I'm sorry to break in real quick. We do have people who are attending remotely, who just would like for people in the room to speak more loudly. So they can hear, and then also they can identify themselves. That'd be great. So, sorry for interrupting.
We're next door to them as far as libraries go, and it's interesting because we went from Frontier with the, what was it before, broadband? We got through the at 25 megabits, we were paying $430 to Frontier, right? Just set our town up, and our bill now is $90. Yeah, and it's, is that for the significantly that.
Is it by your own line?
No.
Yeah, so you're with other
Yeah.
people. So as your town starts jumping on the fiber bandwidth, you're gonna have a lot of people with you. You know, just like you would with the other. So that's why I went dedicated, so. You'll just have to see how your speeds have.
Our speeds, the entire information.
Yeah.
Our speeds are the same. But what it's here.
That's fantastic.
Thank you. Do we have anybody else?
So this is Leslie just.
You come here, please.
You're too far away, so you have to come up to the microphone.
So just for all of you in the room and all of you in the virtual room, we are at this place where the state has to do the not the Illinois Century Network, the Office of Broadband, which is part of the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, are currently putting together a plan that they have to submit to the federal government for how all this money that's coming in is going to be implemented. So we're Carol's asking you this question at a really good time because everything's about to break loose in a good way. Sometimes when it breaks loose is bad, but this is a good thing. So we just wanting to make sure that we are capturing what you need. And like, this has gotten the attention of everybody in state government, including the area of state government where libraries are. So we're really happy to have that support across state government. And so that's why we're wanting to know again. So if you're not, want to talk about today, or you want to talk to people at your library and reach out to Carol or any of us, we'd be happy. Because I think that the goal is to make everything much better for all of us.
Thank you. And so, yeah, if you have other thoughts or questions, please, reach out to me. I'll have a QR code at the end of this with the contact info. So the next thing is this advocacy video / design contest. And so my work partner, Shandy, our marketing administrator, is the one who came up with the ideas for both of these, actually. There's the idea. I just put them in the wrong order. So the idea is to hold a contest for you to create our next shirt design or sticker design or what have you, and or an advocacy video. So it's like 2 different versions of that. And youth, like Illinois youth, people associated with libraries who like libraries, of course. And by shirt design, those of you who are unfamiliar, we have a store, the IHLS store, currently on Redbubble. We might be changing platforms for that, where we sell different like freedom to read and library focused advocacy designed things like shirts and socks or whatever. And the proceeds from that build up a marketing micro grant that we will be able to give to a member library. And once we get enough money, we will announce it and open for applications. And so that's what that would be for. We also hand out stickers. I brought some stickers to hand out at the end of this too. So, and that would be an example, another way we might use those designs. So there are two goals of this contest. The first would be to advocate for libraries among the general public, you know, with the shirt design or with the video. They'll probably go on like social media or something. And then also in our minds, we're also thinking anytime we do that, we're also increasing visibility for IHLS, not simply the IHLS, the organization, but our entire system, because we are all, you know, showing what we do for you shows what y'all, another thing y'all can do for your patrons. And that's good stuff. So then there are two iterations, like I said, the video contest and the design contest. And so, yeah, we have a lot more questions for this one. Feel free to answer any of them, but you know, we don't know, would this be worth our time? We're thinking it would probably, like, putting the whole thing together, promoting it, that sort of stuff would take maybe 8 to 10 hours, like also deciding, or, you know, judging and announcing the winner and all that stuff. We're especially looking to those of you who've done like contests or whatever with your patrons, especially youth patrons. Do you think that it would have enough impact? Which version do you think would be more like better? Social media, the graphic, what have you, and the best way to get buy-in from libraries, insight into reaching out to and working with youth, and like running that kind of contest. Should we create an ad hoc group of librarians to help us, or just invite some librarians to a group chat? Something else? Any of y'all interested in working with us on this? Thoughts?
Not in the near future, I heard Laura coming up. So
Yeah.
my boss.
That's fair.
Sorry,
Oh, no, thank you.
it might be better time of year, I don't know.
And
What kind of
that's-
timeline for you to go?
Yeah, we're not under a tight timeline, so it could be, okay, this is a spring project. Or winter, okay.
Not one thing. Not one, no.
Fair.
Not one summer meeting, and we're not doing the annual.
This is Kate. I'm right next to Carol, so I'm not going to unmute myself. Carol, is there going to be a place where members can find these questions after this meeting? In case they want to go back and, you know, they don't have time to think about it right at this moment, but they would like to revisit this?
Yeah, I can put that up on the website, or send it out to I can send out my presentation to the people who attended today if they want.
Anna just said, could we possibly tie this to the library call? So that's all.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, like in the promo for the library crawl, or like, you know, use our computers to design a shirt design for the contest as part of it.
That was Anna Yackel, so she can probably catch you.
Yeah, I'll say, well, I'll ask Anna.
I think that I could see a lot of ways that it could be tied in. Generally, I would love to I would love to have librarians weigh in on this, the people involved in the pub crawl weigh in. I'm sure they have lots of great ideas on how to amplify this effort, where we get more word out for the pub crawl. I mean, not the pub crawl, the library crawl, and more for advocacy. It's kind of like we can advocate for our libraries and promote the pub crawl together. And I think if we give the librarians that task, they'll come up with some great ways to do it.
So you Okay, sorry. So that was, turn it over to libraries when they start planning the crawl.
I'm just having to say it,
Right, I was gonna say, that's a early fall, late summer thing. So maybe, I could bring it up, but you know, otherwise assume maybe winter. Okay. All right, well, if any of you think of something, you know, later on, or maybe I know I kind of zoomed through this one. So if you know, want to revisit it or have questions, reach out. We would love to hear from you. We would love to, you know, if you know, you just want to help us brainstorm this, it would be great. And to do that, you can, this is my office phone number here, 618-467-8139. You can also email us at communications@illinoisheartland.org. And for those of you who are, if you can't, see, I can't move this. I don't know what this is. Oh, wait. Okay, well, there's a QR code, but you can't see it. Because there's a, yeah. Can I reset this? Is this my timer?
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Is there an X?
There's like a minimize thing. Okay, well, it must be on my end. So there you go. There's our nice little QR code. So you can scan that with your phone and it basically just pulls up a place where I put our email address on the resource guides landing page. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Carol, for
that.
that.
We'll
We'll
get
get that information
out,
out
as soon
as
as
soon as
we can to the rest of the members.
Okay, let's see. I want to thank everyone again, both in person and virtually, for being patient and bearing with us as we kind of figure out things. That's one of the great things, is that now we're going to be going around to the different libraries and trying this hybrid, but sometimes we have unexpected technical adventures. So Cassandra, we should be able to turn it over to you for the share update if you are ready.
Great. Thank you so much, Kate. I appreciate that. You guys can hear me okay? Perfect. Okay. So I do have two announcements just about our share committees. We do have an opening on the share circulation and resource sharing committee. And we do have a couple of people who have already volunteered from previous opportunities that we're looking at. But if anybody else is interested in throwing their hat in, I would be happy to put your name out for consideration. What that is you're helping to set policy and really lead the direction of share when it comes to our circulation practices. We also have an opening for a small library representative on the Share Executive Council. Again, we've had a few volunteers, but if it's something that you're interested in, please reach out to me and I'll tell you a little bit more about that group and what to expect. I'd also like to just highlight the Cloud Library Kids Mode. I know we had sent that out probably a month or two ago in the Share newsletter, that there's a new option for our youngest patrons for the Cloud Library. And so I wanted to highlight that specifically. I've had a chance to use it and it's just wonderful. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at it, please do. Please let your patrons know it's there. It's a little bit tricky when you turn it on. You know, if you've got a kiddo at home and you go back and forth between your books and their books, it's a little tricky to turn it back off. So I do recommend everybody taking a look at that, but it is fairly easy once you find the setting and how to switch back and forth. Now, I do have some really exciting news about the Aspen project. We are moving forward with that. We're getting so excited to get that finalized. And so the timeline is that we're going to start with the migration team with Bywater Solutions, and then we're going to move into implementation in the fall with the first cohort. That will likely be some of our larger cataloging libraries, and maybe a few outliers like our, a special library as an academic library, a school library. We want to start to have those member library staff using it, looking at our database, what's working, what's not. And so we can be doing some cleanup work on the back end with that first cohort group before we start rolling it out to like second and third cohort groups. With that, we also finalized a fee scale for that. So everybody who RSVP'd and put in your amount that you could pay, I know we are going to be confirming that with everyone here soon, probably in the next week or so, but we also have a fee scale. So maybe you weren't sure if you could do it and you wanted to wait to see what the pricing was like. We do have that now for you. And so we will be sending that out in the Share newsletter in August. And so it's going to be pretty reasonable for those of you who are interested in this. It is all available on the Share website. If you are not familiar with Aspen or want to get a little bit more information, there's some videos, there's lots of great information and FAQs on the website. So if anybody has any questions, again, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. And so that's all I have for today. If anybody has any questions. Okay, I'll turn it back to you, Kate. Thank you.
Sorry, I have to make sure I turn down the speakers in the room before I start talking, or else it will get very feedbacky. So the next on the agenda is membership. Ellen or Anna, or both of you, would you like to give an update?
Kate, I'm going to kick it off and then turn it over to others in the department, if that's okay. Can you hear me okay? Okay, good. Well, first of all, I'm gonna give a moment to delivery and tell everybody to stay tuned, because a name will be for a new director of operations, delivery and facilities will be included in the board packet for next week. So that's very exciting to have somebody new stepping into that position. As far as membership goes, there's lots going on. And what the nice thing is that's happened is this department has grown quite a bit over the last couple of years. We were delighted when Leah came on board, and then Kate came on board, and Sarah Taylor has joined us as a departmental assistant. So we're cooking on all the burners now, and that's a very good thing. The one thing I want to bring up is we're all happy to do site visits. We typically concentrate on new library directors, but anytime you want a site visit, somebody to come out and talk to you about what's going on in your library, we're happy to do that. It is conference season coming up. We have 3 on our radar. One is the Association of Rural and Small Libraries, which will be in Wichita in September. And then we go right into the Illinois Library Association Conference, which will be in Springfield, our back door. And it's a good conference for us this year. The president of ILA this year is Ryan Johnson, the director of the O'Fallon Public Library, so one of ours. I believe he will be having a reception for all attendees on Monday night. On Tuesday night, and Cassandra, correct me if I'm wrong, we're expecting to have a celebration of 10 years of Cloud Library. And I think the state library is going to invite company on the last night of the conference. So there's a lot going on. It's drivable for all of us. So we really hope to see lots and lots of you there. And then the final one is the IHL conference. So that's what's going on big picture. But I can turn it. Anna, do you want to chime in and talk about the grant for a minute?
Sure. After a year of pretty solid effort to create the trustee training portal and grant materials, we're going to have something that we can share with you probably late summer, early fall. That'll be like the first few modules of this training. We're very excited about it. We've worked very hard. I have to give all the credit in the world to my colleague, Dr. Leanne Furby, who is really the brains behind us, I think. She's the one who's handled all the technical stuff. And we have this online learning platform that's quite unique to interact with. And she's done a lot of that. So she's able to take my ideas and turn them into amazing things. So I'm hoping that all of the trustees will be as amazed as we are with what we're producing. And, you know, I'm always open to ideas. We have 2 committees we work with that give us feedback. But if you have any ideas or thoughts about what you want trustees to know, please, I'm always open. Anything you think that could be helpful. And you know how to reach me via my email, or you can call me. So thank you. I'll turn it back over to probably Leah, or
I think Leah would be great. Have we lost the people indicator?
No, they are still here.
Okay,
Kate is just muted right now.
got it.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that we were switching back and forth. Like I said, I have to do a little bit of tech switching over here. And then Leah, did you have an update? I'm going to turn it over to Leah Gregory.
Leo, we cannot hear you.
Now? What is happening? You should be able to, well, now you're on the speaker, so
Can you hear me now, guys?
We can hear you, Leah.
Okay, sorry. So I just wanted to say that when I started this job, I had a very ambitious vision of like a slate of continuing education for our librarians that work in schools, for which we could offer the Illinois School Board of Education PDH hours. And we have now been approved for that. And with Kate on board, we are very much digging into that. So we have a lot of that coming up. So if you know school librarians who are looking for PDH, please have them get in touch with us. But the most important thing that we are doing is coming up in September, which is kind of like a DU for school librarians. And we're targeting school librarians who do not have certification. So if you know a school librarian who got stuck doing this job without really being asked about it and just stuck in the library somewhere, we're really targeting those people for that day. So if you know anybody who could benefit from that, please don't hesitate to have them get in touch with me. I'm muted.
Okay. Thank you, Leah. Sorry, sound was coming through here. Okay, so we've got about 9 minutes left allotted for this. I know that I'm going to turn it over. Does anybody have anything that they would like to bring up as far as our members who are joining us either in person or virtually? I will be following up with everything. I am very excited about a number of continuing education programs that are coming up. This Members Matter meeting next month in August will have Karen Milner, attorney at law in employment law, and she's going to be doing a program on the Paid Leave for All Workers Act. I know there's been a lot of questions about that, especially how it affects part-time workers. So we will be having a program on that in August, and in person we'll be at the Heron City Library. So we are traveling towards the more southern Illinois. So that is my big update. I am always open to receiving feedback, to receiving topics of anything you'd like to see in the future. This topic was suggested in a director's chat, actually. And as you can see, a lot of people came out for records retention. It's a topic that we all need a refresher on. So if there are no questions from anyone attending or any last words, then we're going to go ahead and end the meeting. Thank you again all for your time, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thanks, Kate.
Oh, I have stickers, don't forget.
Oh, come and get stickers. You want